A very good morning, everyone. Welcome to the episode season 3, episode 2. So today we have a very interesting topic called, do deadlines, destroy creativity, right? I mean, for everything, the deadlines are there, right? I mean, whether you're in school, whether you're a principal, whether you're an entrepreneur, every one of us, work under deadlines, we work under timelines. So do they destroy creativity? Something, most of the parents have opted to, get insights for this topic, and we have got the right set of speakers today. We have, firstly, let me introduce, Mr. Anwar Shirpulwala, who is a father of our student Zara, and also who is the CEO of Federation of Indian Fantasy Sports. We have another panelist, Mr. Vansh Bura, who is our student, who is a student of one of the schools in Kolkata, and he is also a youngest student entrepreneur coming from Kolkata. We have third panelist, Dr. A. Kiranmai, who is the chief clinical dietitian at Apollo Cradle, based out of Hyderabad. And we have Sri Charan, who is the founder and CEO of Stumags, and who is also an author of a book called Dad the Book. He's a good friend of mine. He's been running a couple of startups based out of Hyderabad, and who is going to lead the moderation. And once again, congratulations, Charan, for your launch of the book. Towards
Oh,
the end
thank
of,
you.
I would like to give certain insights of your book also, and if at all you can share, where we can actually get an access to that book. We'll be happy to share our insights on the book as well.
Sure,
Thank
sure, Pawan. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining this panel on a Sunday morning. We have close to 450 students that are watching this session live, and I'm sure the session is going to be very amazing. And towards the end of the session, we can pick up some questions from the parents, and also, we have a lot of principals that have joined the session. We'll be happy to interact with all of you guys. And Charan, over to you. You can drive the panel from now.
Thank you. First of all, this is a very, very interesting topic because people often ask you to be creative. And again, they say, like, whether creative people always have an excuse that we should not have deadlines. And as CEOs here, Pawan and others, Anwar and Mr. Anwar, Kiran Mai, because she's at a leadership position, and Vansh, very proud of you, young CEO. So when people always before getting into the panel, I just wanted to kind of set the context so that it will be easy for everyone to listen and understand why are we debating about it. I'll start from my personal experience because generally I'm not at all a creative guy, which I understood in my own way because uh, when I started my first enterprise in 2014, the first thing which I was looking for, you always seek a partner who is not you, who complements you. When you identify a co-founding team, the moment you identify a creative co-founder, the first thing you always ask him is, okay, when are we releasing our app, or when are we releasing our website, or when are we releasing our thing? Then he used to say me, now if you put pressure on me, you don't expect me to give a great output. And in the initial days, I was thinking that was a bahana. There's a kind of a thing. You just say that if you want a good work, please wait for it. Don't just put some pressure on me. But we are grown up in such a competitive space from our childhood that you need to. And the word deadline itself has dead in it. The kind of a word it is itself. It sounds a vibe. It gives a vibe saying that, okay, fine. If you don't meet it, you're gonna screw things up. So, and in my journey, I understood that it's a kind of a very, very thin line to maintain that, to have, like, later I started saying that if I want some work by February 1st, I used to say Jan 20th is the deadline. So because I knew that this guy was never giving me on on Feb 1st if I say it is Feb 1st. So later he got so used to it, he started asking me, okay, anyways, you have always have a plus 10 wala thing. So the plus 10 model always worked for me because the whole thought process is like anytime these deadlines always try to hinder people, but we need to understand the people more. It's based on the type of person whom you are interacting with. So I'll throw the first, I'll open the panel with Mr. Anwar. Like, being a parent, sometimes you set some works, you have kids at home, and you are heading a prestigious organization. Uh, how do you see, because let's say you are heading a gaming kind of a consortium there. So how do you see, like, at work, at home, the deadlines are two different arenas. At home, how do you handle the deadlines part? Are you on the or on the professional front? How do you see it in a different way?
Yeah. So thanks, Sricharan, for setting the context, and I'm really grateful to Pawan and Disha for having me here. Thank you so much for providing this opportunity to speak to close to 400 audience today. Sricharan, let me start by saying that I don't think you're not creative, because you are creative enough to find a founder who could do the creative job for you. So I think in some ways all of us are creative. Yes, maybe the scale varies from person to person. But trying to answer your question on how it is, what I'm going to speak today is all about the experiences that I have gathered in my life. And I don't want to be bookish, because we have a great audience here who's aiming and striving to become an entrepreneur. And I think some of my insights might help them to shape their careers too. So I have seen both sides, where creativity led to lethargy, and I've also seen the sides where the deadlines have helped creativity. So in the earlier years of my career, I've also set up a few companies, and I terribly failed in all of the entrepreneurship endeavors that I had. One of the largest reasons for failing has not doing things on time. And I know, just imagine if you have a great idea, but for some reason are not able to implement that idea on time. Somebody else takes away that idea and implements it, and we've seen number of cases in the past. So to my mind, deadlines are super important. However, there's a very fine balance one needs to maintain between how creative you can get and also meet the deadline. And I think the secret lies between prioritizing what is needed right now to do and meeting that deadline. Of course, we'll speak as we progress, we'll speak a lot more. But honestly, on the home front and the work front, everything, the conceptually, fundamentally, everything is just the same. You have to be creative enough and also meet deadlines at home. At the same time, you have to be creative enough and also meet deadlines at work. Of course, work always becomes a priority, because that's what sort of gives the life, kind of a life that you want. So to my mind, deadlines are extremely important. And one has to be even creative to manage the deadlines.
Awesome. So very nice point put by Anwar. Like he said, like, creative to manage deadlines. How can people become creative? Because generally creative people don't have deadlines. So it's like, how creatively they always try to tell some or other reasons too. So I'll just move to Vansh, because Vansh is a young entrepreneur and he's doing multitasking now. He manages his acad, and he runs his own organization. So how do you prioritize your thing? Because taking a cue from what Mr. Anwar said, it's about prioritizing. So do you set deadlines to others, or others are setting deadlines to you?
No, I set deadlines on my own. I think that I personally believe that deadlines are a very important part of your day-to-day life too. So managing work and school and other extracurricular activities, I have seen that time management plays a very important part here. If I have an exam on Monday and I even have to do some extracurricular activities, here I have to prioritize what I have to do first. So first I'll work on my studies and then I'll move on to some other things. So, and managing time, not wasting a lot of time and procrastinating. So I think if a deadline is not impossible to meet, it doesn't destroy creativity. I think it just enhances creativity, according to me, deadlines. So yeah.
Wow. And great word. The word, you just stole one word out of my mouth, Vansh: procrastination. That is the one nice word where there are sometimes the sessions are on that topic. That procrastination itself is a nice habit that a lot of people have. Good that you brought in. So Dr. Kiranmai, I want to start with an interesting question to you, because like you being a chief dietitian, does food play any role, in the type of food you consume will make you lethargic and just postpone deadlines, or is just a myth?
No, it's definitely not a myth because I feel food plays a very important role because they say you are what you eat. So when you're having something very healthy and tasty, I think it improves your mindset. And I believe that we can have an undefeatable mindset when we eat the right sort of food because health plays a very major role. Like mind and body are like two different people, and we have to coordinate well. So yeah, I think nutrition plays a very important role. And yeah, before talking about nutrition, I would just like to tell about myself. uh, like um, like immediately after I finished my 12th standard, like I wanted to become a doctor, a proper medical doctor, an MBBS doctor. But then my dad clearly told me that he's not going to invest any money, and he said that like only you have to get the seat by yourself, and only then you can become a doctor. But I tried for this MSET thing, and I got a good rank as well, but he was not willing to pay a huge amount and all. And then he told me that there is something called as nutrition, and you can still become a doctor if you take up this course. So like a decade back, like 10 years ago, nutrition was, people used to think it's more about cooking or just food. It was, they had a lot of misconceptions about it, and they thought it's very vague. But I took it up as a challenge, and I worked so hard in the field of nutrition, and I became a gold medalist from National Institute of Nutrition. And I proved myself, like I've done a lot of research in the field of nutrition. And while doing that, I was very passionate about teaching. I always wanted to become a teacher, but my parents always wanted to see me as a doctor. So what I've done is, after completing my course, like after my BSc, MSc, and PhD in the field of nutrition, first I chose teaching. First, I wanted to follow my passion, and I was the youngest lecturer just 5 years back. And then I felt so good interacting with the young minds. I taught at degree college in the field of nutrition, and it was so good to deal and interact with the younger generation. And I used to motivate them to such an extent because they had a lot of misconceptions in this field. And then I've taken up research as my passion. Like I wanted to understand each and every aspect of nutrition. Under nutrition, like we had 10 different subjects, so in every area I wanted to understand. And then I figured out that I am more interested into maternal and child nutrition, like women and children, child care, because I figured out that they are the most affected people, especially in the rural areas and all. And I've done a project there as well. So that is why I chose Apollo Cradle as my thing, and I joined there. And today I'm so happy that I'm able to treat people with various health issues and medical conditions. Like when they come and tell me that, madam, it's because of your diet we could recover so well, and we bounced back to where we wanted to be. So like that, I chose my passion, and now I'm really happy. Like I'm doing multiple things. Like today I'm a doctor, but I've been into teaching, I've been into research. And because I always had the idea, like I have that burning desire to achieve a lot in life, and every day I believe that it's a learning period. Every day I believe that I either learn or I win. I don't feel that I'm going to lose in anything, because even in the crisis time, like just 1 year back, everybody was so shattered, so puzzled. They had fear, anxiety, and a lot of negative emotions in them, assuming that they're going to die and all that. But as a doctor, since I work in the medical profession, I decided that I have to be more confident and strong and focus and diagnose the problem, because that is my area. And I took it up as in my stride, and I could actually play with what I'm doing. So yeah.
Great. Discipline and diet both start with diet.
Exactly.
Diet.
Yeah.
So it's like both go correlated. So,
Exactly.
Mr. Anwar, like to just taking it forward, being an entrepreneur by yourself and being a father. So the reason why I want to stress more on, because the audience here are more parents, students, and wannabe entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs. Sometimes there's deadlines and all these things. People always attend some competitions and they take a lot of pressure. the creativity getting affected with the deadlines. Sometimes like let's say there is a last date to submit an application of an idea competition. So I just want to give a use case here. So how do you see like the creativity getting affected? Because you said about prioritizing things. Does sometimes it will bring best out of you, or how one should cope up with this pressure of some deadline? Because we cannot avoid deadlines. Let's accept the fact, because this panel is on the one side of it. So it's happy that it will not become a TV debate where we fight with each other. So where the arguments over, like, because it's good that everyone on the one side that okay, we should have deadlines, but how do you cope up with those deadlines? Because that's the more important area that we need to touch base. Yeah.
I think Srijan, an extremely relevant question, because this is a challenge as a parent that I always feel, because my child is continuously under pressure of doing something on time. Uh, Having said that, the expectation is also to perform very well. Now, with deadlines, not necessarily that you would always perform very well, but I think it's important to doing it rather than doing it the best. I think it's important to just do it. It really does not make any difference how well you have done or not done it. So my only encouragement to my child always is that I think let's put all our effort in the process of doing it, and because that process itself has a lot to make you learn. That process has a lot. It sort of the kind of ideas that come up by just doing it itself helps to achieve your eventual goal. Also, important thing is that improvisation or doing or having the best sort of a solution it never happens at one go. Improvisation is a process. Improvisation is something that happens over a period of time. Today the products that we use, the services that we use, they were not just made like that. It happened over a period of time. So I think it's important that first of all, you should not lose sight of your deadline. Second is that you must go ahead and attempt and do it. Do not really think right away, right now, of what the result would be, because the moment you start thinking that, hey, I have to do the best within that deadline, possibly that thought itself will pull down your creativity. So I think one has to start working, not procrastinate. Once I really admire when you said that, not procrastination, absolutely right, you should not. But let me also tell you that procrastination also has two sides. If I'm too convinced, I will do it right away. If I'm not convinced, I might delay doing it. So there is a good procrastination also, and there is a bad procrastination also. So have a good procrastination, but ensure that you do things within that deadline.
Great, great one. So Vansh, I just want to add, like, because being a young entrepreneur, so it's like, all these managing others is a very big challenge. Let's say you said about prioritizing your own thing. So when you start setting deadlines, there's a deadline that you set for yourself. The other way is to set deadlines for others.
Yeah.
So how do you see, like, their creativity getting affected, or your outputs? What's your own experience in that?
So I sit down and I see how long a task should ideally take. For example, if it's one simple project and it should take about 7 days, my deadline would be 8 or 9 days, so that the workers, they get their time too. Because on paper this seems very nice, that the theory is really nice, that we shouldn't procrastinate, we should have time managed on paper, on theory this is very nice. But when you actually sit down to do work, it is very difficult to manage your time, doing everything, managing school, managing extracurricular activities. On paper it seems like a really good idea, that I can rest from this time to this time, then I can do my work, then I can study. But when you really sit down to do it, there's lack of motivation. So I think trying to find what drives you, where your passion lies, that is going to help you work. And as far as setting deadlines are, I think set a deadline which is not impossible to meet, so that it doesn't hamper creativity very largely on a very high basis. But also Deadlines, if there are no deadlines, people will procrastinate and then eventually maybe not do the work till the end of time. So setting deadlines, I think, should be I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm
So
blanking on
once,
the
like,
verb. Yeah.
Just to just add to what you said, sometimes are there any rewards which will work to ensure that people meet
It
deadlines?
does, yeah.
Sometimes.
Incentives. If people have incentive to work, they tend to stay motivated and they work harder. So I
Great.
found this process in my own life. I found this very helpful. My parents, I had a deal with them every time there was an exam or something, that if I complete my work on time or if I get a certain percentage in my examination, I should get a reward for it. And personally, it helped me out. I think it worked very well for me.
Just wanted to quote, as a first time author, I wrote one chapter in my book called Dad about how rewards motivated me to achieve things. Because, even in the corporate HR, they call it as R&R, rewards and recognition.
Yeah.
And funnily, my book title Dad means DAD, do's and don'ts. So it's like, you keep doing deadlines and don't deadlines. So just to continue, Kiran,
Yeah.
because I just want to ask you on a other side of the thing, people
Yeah.
getting distracted by lots of things and missing
True.
deadlines. So
True.
that's an area that we need to, because being a teacher and a multifaceted personality and doctor, so I thought you would be better answering this. So they get distracted by social networks and a lot of other, which are very addictive in nature. Because
Yeah.
it's more like, even the food is an addiction, and all these are about dopamine stuff.
Yeah.
So
So many addictions these days. Yeah.
correct. So when you have addictions and people miss deadlines, so how do you suggest to people to cope up with that? Because a lot of parents watching it also, they keep saying, stay away from the mobile. Yeah, or what is your opinion on it?
See, I believe that we cannot pressurize someone and, put force onto someone and say, do this and don't do that. It's all about the mindset, because each person is different and each person is so creative and very unique in their own way. And everybody is so incomparable. And because I believe that, we have to talk to different people in a different manner. Not everybody gets the same thing. But there are three important things which every person should understand is, first and foremost, discipline, systematicity, and time management. If they know what time management is, like if they can follow a perfect timetable from early morning to bedtime, not just the food habits, the general habits, like how they want to design their future, I feel we can actually design what we want to become in life. And there has to be systematicity and discipline. So when I say that, like, everybody should have a burning desire to achieve something in life, and I'm sure everybody's got a view or a vision to become something or the other in life, but they don't actually work towards it. People think that they have a lot of time in their life, but that's not right. I think if you really want to do something, start it from now, like from the present. Like, you have to think and analyze and figure out what are your weaknesses, what are your strengths. And I agree, there are a lot of distractions at a very young age. And because I've seen, like, I met one of my friend recently. He's a brilliant doctor. Like, we drifted apart after our intermediate, and he has taken up his MBBS, and he went to Mangalore and he has completed that. And after that, like after a decade, I just met him. And though I saw him as a very creative person, he's still trying to figure out what his passion is. And like, he's multi-talented, but then he's not able to figure out what exactly he wants to choose. Like, we cannot do 100 things at a time. If we want to, if we are good at many things, first we have to strategize and prioritize what is important first. And we can actually meet deadlines, because I feel that, because I can meet deadlines with my own personal experience. I'm telling, when I am under pressure, I believe that my outcome would be the best. Like, I can ensure that I can come out with the best outcome. I believe that either we can do everything or nothing at all. I just hate doing half-hearted things, because if we really want something, we need to work out, we have to strategize and create a proper timetable and work towards achieving our goals. And today I'm able to do multiple things. Like every other day, I go and attend a TV show and debate programs. I speak about corona, diet, and so many other things. So it requires a lot of effort. I just don't go to a TV show without preparing. So there is a lot of background stuff which we have to do, a lot of research in everything which we want to do. So you like people actually think that everything is possible with hard work, with discipline, with systematicity, and the way you prioritize things in a proper manner. And I feel that everybody is good at one certain thing. Like they have to understand what they are excellent at and what they are weak at. A person should know what they can do and what they cannot do as well, and they have to improvise on what they cannot do.
Awesome.
And
Yeah.
though we have many distractions in life, I feel it's all about the mindset. It's about the undefeatable mindset. If we are really rigid and if we are sure to hit the goal, I think we can do it. And they have to strategize what are their short-term goals and what are their long-term goals, and they have to figure out how they see themselves 5 years from now, or 3 years from now, or what is the outcome they are going to give after 6 months from now. So in every field, I feel that yeah, deadlines are important, so that only if we have a time limit, we know that what can we do within that time limit. Yeah.
Great. Now I just remember one quote, like, you have to, if someone asks you to cut a tree, people spend more, the smart guy spends more time in sharpening the axe than cutting the tree from day one.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's about doing a background work more.
Yeah.
But on the contrary,
Hmm.
to this statement,
Hmm.
like I just want to pose this question to Anwar here, because some people, it's better, they suggest you to divide the task into smaller tasks. When you're trying to take up some work, break it into smaller tasks and execute it. So, but when you see the other way around, like if you are dividing them into micro tasks, but some people say you have to do more research and then get into the main task. So, on which side which is the area which you believe in, Mr. Anwar? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I'll break down this puzzle into two parts, planning and executing. I think your research can be part of your planning, and then execution is the place where those small pieces have to be broken down. The whole task has to be broken down, and then prioritize amongst that task what you can immediately do within that deadline. So I think there are a lot of problems to which there are very simple solutions. There are a lot of problems to which there are very simple solutions if you have researched it well, and there are a lot of problems with very simple solution if you have researched it well and executed it well. So eventually every problem has a very simple solution. That is the point I wanted to make. It's the process that you sort of adopt to implement it. So always break it down into planning and executing, and I think that way it helps you to meet your deadline.
Good one, sir. So, Vansh, because now, which grade you are? You graduated from the school, or which grade
No,
you are?
I'm in class 11.
11 now. So
Yeah.
the reason, like, I wanted to ask this question to you because one size doesn't fit all. Schools have a very tough time because there is a Vansh,
Yeah.
there is someone, there is a Devansh, there is a Rayansh in a class. They might not be like Vansh. So how do you feel as a student sometime or an entrepreneur? A school should handle deadlines because schools teach you a lot.
Right.
Like the first thing I understood about deadline when there were project works which were given. I understood about the team building when I started working with my classmates in my school. The team activities or the group activities. So there is always a passive learning which is happening. So what is your opinion on schools imposing deadlines on students? So because sometimes the other students might have more time, you might not have
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
much time. So how do you see like schools should take it up? They should take up on more personalized things.
So like
Is it
you
possible?
said, everyone is different, right? So some people, they can be very creative under pressure, whereas some
Mhm.
people are only creative when they're not under pressure. So I find that my school, at least, the deadlines have been very flexible. I think that most schools should implement this idea that the deadline should be a little flexible so that all students can cope with it. Uh, because certain students, they do very well under pressure, and even if you give them short deadlines, they'll be able to come up with the work and then submit it on time. But some students need their time to do it. Some, They do not get creative ideas when they are under pressure, and they need a longer amount of time to think their idea through. So generally in schools, what happens is we get a project before the vacation, and then we have a month's time. We generally get a month's time to then submit it, which I think is more than enough for every student.
People
So
will start on the last day of the vacation, right, Vansh?
that is what some people do. Like personally, I do that. I work very well under pressure, and I also had an habit of procrastination. So, and also it's about prioritizing work. So whatever is important first, and then in the end, when I actually have to give my project tomorrow, the last night I'll sit down and I'll take out the information and I'll actually do it. But then there are some students who take the entire month. They plan it out. They do some work in the first half, some in the second half. So I think a month's time is very flexible for every student, and it's very doable, because the school projects, they're generally 10-15 pages long, and then you have to take out some information and then just write it down. So it doesn't, and school projects don't really involve a lot of creativity. As far as I feel, the academic projects we get, it's just finding out information on Wikipedia and then writing it down. There's not a lot of creative aspect to it. So a month's time is more than enough for anyone to do it, I think.
Good. Vansh told, like, better don't try this at home types. The disclaimer is it's okay for Vansh to start assignment on the last day, not for all. So all the students who are watching it, better don't try this at home. All the stunts are performed by professionals. So,
This also happens with examinations. Some students,
yeah,
they start beforehand, some wait till the end. And then when it's actually time, when you know that tomorrow I have to go and give the exam, you actually sit down to study, because you
that's the
don't have
reason we
any
all
other
became
option left.
entrepreneurs, Vansh. We all became entrepreneurs because we always do things at a last moment. That might be a nice way to look at things. We are optimist. So
Yeah.
we'll go to Dr. Kiran Mai, because now there's a kind of a light-hearted conversation which is happening. But
Yeah.
being a dietitian, I'm very curious, because maybe I'll consult you sometime.
Yeah,
But
definitely, sir. Yeah.
dietitians always put lots of deadlines to
Mm.
people, right? You have a proper timetable. The discipline is
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
most important thing. I believe, like, long time back, I went to a gym trainer. I said, like, I have to do exercise to put on weight. He said, like, it's not about doing exercise, but it is eating right. That is
Mm.
more important. So how do you see, like, kids, because they are the kind of a nocturnal things which people are these days becoming, when I say nocturnal, you see, like, even Vansh will agree, people
Yeah.
would love to work in the nights more. They are night owls.
Mm.
Sleepovers, you see nice words being used these days, like sleepover at friend's place, nocturnal. How do you see the whole lifestyle change, making people procrastinate more, not meeting deadlines, memory loss, forgetting things? You have lots of side effects of it, because people
Exactly.
lose
Yeah.
lack of sleep also ensures that
Mm.
your day is not in a right shape.
Yes.
So what's your opinion on this? I know it's a broad question, but I just
Yeah.
wanted you to touch base on this, because you are the expert on the panel on this area.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So generally adolescents, they're very fussy eaters. Like they have so many distractions in life and so many new things coming up in their life. And they're somewhat, I feel they're in a chaos, in confusion. Like they have parental pressure, peer pressure, but ultimately I feel it's still in the mind. I feel that they should have their own planner. They should have a planner. And when it comes to diet, I understand that there are so many bad lifestyle habits. Like, for example, during this COVID time, there were no schools and colleges. So they were just sitting at home, snacking in front of the TV or on screen, like, for a longer time. And usually when they are hungry, they don't munch on a fruit or, on a salad. They would love to munch on something like sweets or ice creams or chips. So I give them options to eat sweets, ice creams, and chips, but I change the recipes for them. I include something healthy and tasty when it comes to them. And I customize the diets basing on their, food habits. I don't generally discard everything what they like, but I give them the right portion sizes, how much they can eat, what they can eat, and when they can eat. I give them a structured menu plan with timings into it, and they can adjust it accordingly. even if they're night owls, that doesn't matter to me as long as they're following what I'm giving them. So I think, and most of my clients, 90% of my clients, they maintain that discipline, because I tell them that I'm putting more than my 500% into it to help them, because it's not like if I eat and they lose weight, or they get better. It's that they have to do. When I'm putting so much of effort, I expect the same from them, and they are doing wonderfully well. I think it's all about the mind, and if they really want something, they can definitely be that.
All the guys whoever are listening, they should know the right person to go. She'll give a diet even in the midnight. Also, you'll have a midnight snacks. So that will be on the
but they should step outside their comfort zone. Okay, I need certain efforts from them as well, to put into.
Like an avocado chips, not the regular chips or the potato chips.
Yeah, or something like a beetroot chips. Like if they're fond of cakes, I tell them an oats cupcake. Okay.
So maybe with the interest of time, Disha, do we have how much time more? Like, do we have a fine?
Yeah, we have another 15 minutes, Charan.
Okay. So are we taking any questions from the audience or something?
Yes, there are a couple of questions, Charan. One is about you. I know they're asking, what all have you covered in your book? Did you cover about this topic as well? One of the students is asking.
Vansh made my job easier.
Did you cover anything in your book?
Yes. Vansh made my job easier by saying about the rewards thing. Just to make it very simple to the point, as Pawan asked, lockdown, I just wanted to make it more productive. That's the first time after maybe around 25 years, I started spending more time with my dad. During lockdown, we were seeing each other, and it was more like becoming nostalgic. So then I thought, everyone has their own checklist in their life. You have to become an entrepreneur, author, write your first book. I thought, what better than lockdown time to make it productive? So I just called a publishing house saying that, fine, thanks to entrepreneurship and somewhat recognition, it makes your job easier to get a publisher. Then I said, what's your first book's title? He said, I said, Dad. Then he asked me, what's Dad? You want to write about Dad? I said, Dad means do's and don'ts, because we always love our dads. So the caption was, he's my role model. I don't want to be like him, was the tagline. So it was a very controversial title, saying that he's my role model, but I don't want to be like him, because every son, dad sets deadlines, but he doesn't follow. And he expects the son to follow. Sometimes you have to lead by example. So I always had this question in my childhood, okay, if we have to become adult, not to follow rules. So when kids have lots of rules in their lives. So I was thinking, and this conversations with my father, I have just formulated into a small book, tiny little book, which I think people like Vansh or younger ones can complete it in a day, where the whole thought process was about how my father respected me as an individual, not wanted me to be like him or his grandfather, because in Indian families have a typical system. They compare you with, okay, you are like grandfather, you are like mine, you are like mother. But he started respected me like an individual first, and told his all mistakes, that how he used to miss deadlines, how he didn't achieve what he wanted to. So a lot of times we try to create a rosy picture of a father to a kid. You say all the nice things about father, I did right, I achieved this, I achieved that. But he had lots of guts to say that I didn't do this, you can do it. I didn't achieve this, you can do that. So it was a very typical story, which made me think that I should tell this story to lots of people. And that motivated me to write about it. And as usual, the good thing was I maintained deadlines. I had deadlines to finish the book, and the time was supporting me. So a lot of time was saved in traveling due to lockdown, because that's another common excuse. Why don't you meet deadlines? I'm stuck in traffic. So in lockdown, you don't have that excuse saying that I'm stuck in traffic. So it was a nice experience, Pawan. Thanks for asking about that. You guys, you can check out the book, dadthebook.com. You can find it on Amazon also, dadthebook.com. And thanks for asking me that. Yeah.
Yeah, let me just share that link with every student here. And
Yeah,
also
and
there is a
even
question
me
to
as well, because even I'm interested to read that. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Kiran.
definitely.
Bhai.
Yeah.
I'll like I'll send it one copy to you too. You can
Yeah.
check out. Yeah, thanks.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah, and there is a question to once from a fellow student. So they're asking, how do you prioritize your extracurricular activities? I think he
Okay,
has answered
so
in the beginning, but can you go a little more detail
yeah,
into what
yeah,
all extracurricular
definitely.
activities that you do and how do you prioritize?
So I want to go to college abroad. I want to study outside of India. So I found that academics are not the only thing. There are extracurricular activities. There's music. There's sports. So I'm doing two sports and a musical instrument. I play the guitar. So what I try to do is keep all these classes in the morning or at a time when I'm the least productive. So I find that after lunch from 2 to 4, 2 to 5, I don't really feel like doing any work. That's when I play my guitar or I learn a new language. This is the time when I try to actually do something productive, because uh, during these hours, I have found that I generally laze around. So what I'm trying to do is during this hours, I'm trying to do my extracurricular activities. And as for sports, I'm playing football and squash. So what I do is Saturday and Sunday mornings. In the morning I wake up at 6 and then I go to play my football games or squash games, so that I can come back home in time, and by 8 or 9 I can start my day. So for extracurriculars, I try to keep the classes in the mornings or at times when I'm the least productive, just to not waste time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think there is a follow-up question again from another student to
Yeah.
my. So during the afternoon after lunch, I feel like sleeping and
Yes.
I lose my productivity during that time. So what is the best snack that we can have during the midday?
Best.
This is a student from Mumbai. Uh, okay, this question
Yeah.
is for Dr. Kiran Mai. Thanks once.
Yeah.
Thanks for answering our insight. Yeah.
Okay, the best snack could be like, usually I customize them according to the person's, food habits and food allergies and all. But just briefly, I would like to tell you can snack on some yummy smoothie or something like a fruit shake or a fruit juice, or something like a dry fruit milkshake. If you're not okay with the drinks, you can munch on dry fruits, because almonds have the capacity to increase your memory power, and even walnuts, and or any one fruit of your choice if you like. So yeah, these are some of the interesting snack options. Like if you have a sweet tooth, then you can have something like a dry fruit laddu, or yeah, or any fruit
This
of
is,
your choice. Yeah.
are you suggesting this to the kids, or can we also have, because keeping health in mind, having Dr. Kiran Mai, because even in the office, right? I mean, I think I should suggest this to my team as well.
Definitely. See, whenever you're hungry, our mind goes in such a way that we end up eating a samosa or something very oily, or
Yeah.
we have those cravings to munch on more of, the junk sort of food. So that is the time where you can actually train your mind and say, no, I'm hungry now and let me eat something healthy. It could be a fruit, or it could be a vegetable salad, or it could be a fruit juice or a milkshake, so that you're guilt free from what you're eating and you're eating healthy. You're not dumping something, the extra. And people even have a misconception about the diet coke. They think that
Okay.
because of the name, they think that it's they can drink it as much as they want. But I just want to clear this misconception to everyone, that they're literally dumping the calories which their body doesn't require at all. So you're dumping something which is not, your body is not going to take it in the right way. So yeah, so just be cautious of what you're eating and drinking.
Yes.
Dr. Kiran, my Donald Trump might not like you.
Is it?
Can I add something if you don't mind,
Yes,
Pawan?
yes, sir,
Please,
I know
definitely.
I'm
please,
short, but
please,
I'd
please.
like to add, because now I've almost reached. I'm 46, so I've lived 46 years of my life eating a lot of junk food.
Yeah.
Okay, so for all those young people out there who are listening today, let me tell you,
Yeah.
if you keep on eating junk, drinking junk, Dr. Kiran very rightly said about beverages. I think what happens over a period of decades is that you spoil your gut, and your gut becomes leaky. And the moment you spoil your gut, everything that you eat has a side effect. So if you're eating good food also, it has a side effect. So thankfully in my house, my daughter, right from her birth, we ensured that she never had junk food. So there are no Coke, Sprite, whatever those beverages consumed, nor there are chips or any other junk food which is consumed. Even the burgers and the pizzas are very, very rare in my house. So my only advice is that from my experience, I can tell you, I really spoiled my gut very badly. You guys don't go and do that.
That's a
Sure.
very
Thank
good
you so much.
suggestion. That's a very good suggestion you're giving to the younger people. And last but not the least, I just wanted to give few guidelines to all the youngsters listening to this. Like I just wanted to tell you that 5 important successful habits, of ultra successful people is, first and foremost, they should have their own planner. And second of all, they should step outside their comfort zone and walk a little extra mile, and that'll take them to different places. And third important thing is, they have to surround themselves with positive and smart people, so that way their IQ levels also will improve and they get to learn something interesting every day. And fourth one is, they have to focus on the big picture, like they should have a vision and purpose for it. uh, because vision and action merely they work together. And the last fifth one is, they should never stop learning. Every day there should be some learning or the other. At the end of the day, they should sleep without any regrets in life, because I believe that there are so many youngsters who feel so low and depressed with anxiety. Even if they have a small setback or failure, they don't have anyone to share with, and they are just falling down and collapsing. So I don't want that to happen. I want to tell everyone that there are ups and downs in life. Like after every darkness there is light. Like for example, if you just see the branches of a tree, every branch is different, like so I believe that everybody is unique and different in their own way. But if you really want to become successful in life and create, like, you have to create your own identity, and for that you have to strategize and plan in the right way.
Right.
Right. Right. Thanks, Kiran. So, Charan, so end of the day, so what do you say? So, do deadlines destroy creativity? What is your one final word
Yep.
for all the attendees?
So good that Dr. Kiranmay started the final statement summing up. So one thing which I completely believe in is something like, never ever think, what I like, what I don't like, because a lot of people don't finish a work on a deadline first because they just assume that they don't like it. So
Yeah.
someone yes. Okay. So first, if you start liking something or having conviction in things which you do, because especially because I'm addressing students here, a lot of them
Yeah.
and parents too. Uh,
Yeah.
Even you don't like a subject, start liking it, because if you do some works which you even don't like and if you complete them on time, I know that works which you do which you like, you'll always meet deadlines, you'll always be on time, you'll always finish it, the things which you
Yeah.
like. But when you don't even like some work, start doing such works more. When I say don't like means, solving a max problem, solving a max assignment. If someone who doesn't like math, even if you try to start liking it, start loving it before you talk, because you feed whatever you feed your brain. That's what is the output. And the second statement, as a final statement, sometimes it's good to have less vocabulary these days for kids, because they having more vocabulary is troubling people a lot. Because I met my niece, she was telling me, uh, I'm depressed. I asked her why, because I'm not meeting my standards in school or whatever it is. I asked her, when I was like you, I didn't knew the word called depressed. I knew the word called sad. So the
Right.
point is sometimes having a vocabulary of high vocabulary for being sad also, people are thinking that they are depressed. So I know, with all respect to the clinical terms of it, I'm not getting into the clinical side of it, but sometimes even someone is just sad, people are making them depressed. So please choose vocabulary in a very right way. Talk to people and don't be depressed or whatever pressed, suppressed, oppressed for smaller things. So that try to break it down into small things. It's okay to fail in life. It's okay to not to meet deadlines. It's okay. You're not dead if you don't meet a deadline. So thanks for the opportunity, Pawan and team and Disha and everyone.
Thanks, Charan. Thank you so much, Anwar. Thank you so much, Dr. Kiran Bhai. Thank you so much for joining. I think it was a very insightful session,
Yeah,
and I'm
thank you
going to
so
share the
much.
recorded
Yeah.
session with all the students. Thank you, students. Thank you for joining. Have a great Sunday ahead.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to see you in the further forums. Thank you so much.